Behind me here, you'll see a really majestic old-growth pine. Pine is a type of conifer tree. We call them conifers because they make cones. Perhaps you've seen some pine cones around, especially this time of year. Most conifer trees also have some type of needles for leaves. These needles make it really easy for the tree to conserve energy by being able to pull the water back into its most vital spaces. Most conifers do not lose their needles like other deciduous trees, but some do. These conifers, when their needles get old and die, they just shed them to the ground and then they grow new ones.
We have a good example of a pine cone that hasn't quite opened up yet. It's not ready to let its seeds out. But if you look farther up the tree, most of those pine cones have opened up. By opening those cones and letting the seeds spread out, that's how coniferous trees are able to reproduce. Here's another example of a pine cone that's opened up. This pine cone is only about 3 or 4 inches big. Pine cones come in all shapes and sizes. Here I've got some very big pine cones. This one's very heavy. You can get a lot of seeds in this pine cone. This one's a little longer, but not nearly as heavy. Inside of this pine tree, you can see the old, dying brown needles. Those brown needles, as I said, are the old ones that are dying away to make room for the young green needles that are coming up. So unlike deciduous trees that typically lose their leaves all at once, coniferous trees, when the needles get old, they'll die off, and when they're ready to grow new ones, they'll do it in an ongoing process. This is another type of deciduous tree that looks like it's made preparations to survive the winter. This is a persimmon tree. Notice it's got that red fruit. While it's not very rare in San Diego County, it does live here. Let's see if we can find an up-close view of this red fruit. So there's a good close-up of a persimmon. It's a very interesting fruit for San Diego County. And notice, this tree has lost all of its leaves. It's an easy way of telling that it's a deciduous tree. And notice the very thick bark that helps us survive the cold temperatures here in San Diego. Other common species of plants, while not a tree, is the prickly pear cactus. We find these all over San Diego County. This particular prickly pear cactus is covered in little white splotches. Let's see if we can get closer. These white splotches are known as cochineal, and they've got a small beetle inside. Let's see if I can get one. And if you take that beetle and you squish it, you get a really vibrant red color on your finger. That'll probably stay with me for the next couple of days.